All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mehtab Singh. I am the marketing and sales specialist for Nodinite. And before we dive into the Christmas, here we have our Santa, Mr. Michael Olson, presenting you a preview of Nodinite 6.0. Over to you, Michael.
Okay, thank you, Tabby. Henrik, would you like to add something, or should I just go? Yep. Okay, nice. So, welcome to this partner preview, Nodinite 6. We're still celebrating 10 years this year, let's get going. So, to begin with, this is by far our largest release ever. There is simply no way for me to show you all the features we did today. So I will give you an update on what we did, the big picture, and then you will need to find out the details on your own. And we are continuing to grow, and especially with new partners. Most new businesses were from you guys, so this is really looking good. And despite the current economy and what's happening on the market, we still believe there will be substantial growth next year for Nodinite. So yeah, we really enjoy the hard work we do here together. So shortly, obviously, we will talk about the Nodinite release 6.0. I would like to make some comments on what we do about security. You will get a bit of a glimpse on our roadmap, and obviously you need to know how to update to this new version. So I'm not going to go into the details, but as you know from before, we started to scan all our builds with OWASP, and it turns out that we are doing a great job on this. However, if we have the need to tell you guys that we have a problem in one of our binaries, you really need to subscribe on our portal, because we need a way to reach you guys when there is a security related problem that we feel that you might be interested in. Next year we are going to do some additions to the portal to have some kind of security role. So we want to know who to talk to if there is a similar problem detected as we've seen for Log4j, for SolarWinds, for all the different attacks that have been made the last few years. So we really take this seriously, and you need to start to plan. Some of you guys out there run Nodinite without HTTPS. And the other week here we built the LDAP web API using Net7, and you actually can't use it if you're not using a certificate. So we will do the same for Nodinite in the future, but this is really something you guys also need to do stuff to make sure we run as secure as possible. We will talk about these things later down the road as we progress on this. Just wanted to say something about that. So many of you, we have gotten a lot of questions, obviously, and confusion about the versioning here, because in May, when we released the 5.4, we believed that Nodinite 6 would be the version built on not .NET 6 or maybe .NET 7. As it turns out, the POCs with OpenID Connect didn't go as fast as we wanted. So we delayed the .NET 7 implementation in favor of bloating the current generation of Nodinite with a shitload of features that I'm happy to present to you today here. So what will happen here is obviously the end game is for you to be able to run Nodinite on other hardware or other software PaaS services or whatever This will come maybe next year. We'll see about the progress of our conversion. Anyways, this is where we are at now. So we built this 5.4 release in May, and it turns out to be a really good release. We have only fixed one bug that was a pure 5.4 thing. All the bugs that we fixed for 6.0 were already in the product in previous versions. So we did a great job with 5.4. And 6.0 is a very large release. And we believe that there might be a 6.1 in the future. But we will start to do the major work on the Nodinite 7 when we're back from the holidays. Obviously, we already started on this, but we will really go all in to do this conversion. So this means a lot for you guys out there, because you need to stay tuned about what we do, because there will be changes in the platform and how we run and host Nodinite. So yeah, this is where we are at now. So some words about how to update. And in November, Microsoft destroyed our update experience completely with the advent of DuckFX 161. So it turns out that if you are using the latest DuckFX, then you must use Nodinite 5.4, 125 or later, which obviously includes the 6.0 release that I'm showcasing you today. So if you intend to stay on for some time on the older Nodinite versions, make sure your DuckFX is below, actually it should be 161 here. But you get the point. So there is a tight dependency between these. With the latest Nodinite update tool, which today is 6.0.04, it's generally available on the update tool. So we believe that this is what we will use for the general availability of Nodinite 6. We don't intend to change that much. We haven't planned any changes, so this should be solid. But as you can see here, I'm in the update modal, and there's a new tab with some new options. And if you're installing Nodinite 6, you might need to adjust these accordingly. There's also a new system parameter for these settings. It's a JSON structure, and it's also already in the documentation. You can find it in the system parameter section. What's important though is that you match the path. So whatever you must use the latest DuckFX, which will install by default in this folder, and you need to match that in your system parameter. So please make sure to do that before you update. Otherwise, you will not be able to update. So you need to be aware of this. Also, it turns out that you really need. You can, with Nodinite 6, run this on Windows 2012, but as some of you maybe have seen, Chrome is not getting updated on Windows Server 2012 anymore. So you will not have a secure browser when you run locally, and you should really make an effort making sure you have a later than 2012. So 2012 R2 is fine. Also, we noticed that during our optimization work, we need some newer transact SQL syntax that is only available in SQL Server 2012 and later. So this means that if you run Nodinite on SQL Server 2008 R2, you need to update, find another database instance for Nodinite. You will not lose data in such a transition, so it should be a fairly simple detach, attach, or maybe a backup restore operation. But you need to be aware of this. Also, we are in the preview that you're getting now, WCF is still in the product, but it needs to go because we can't, the libraries that we are using are both deprecated and vulnerable. So we are going to remove WCF in the general available version. So it's still in your 6.0 preview, but don't use it, and now it will go. So I told you this in May already, that you need to plan for this. And we found out that 2 of our customers were logging using this old thing. This was introduced 10 years ago because WCF was what we had at the time, but now it needs to go. So please be aware of that. And obviously, I need to show this because I feel that not all of you are subscribing. So please log on to the portal, and you can either opt to subscribe to everything or on selected parts of whatever. We're not using this channel for any, commercial or marketing related stuff. This is purely to give you updates whenever we release stuff. And we have the percentage of the number of you out there is too low here. So please make sure that you subscribe so you know when we release stuff. So now I think it's time to do some demoing here instead. And I wanted to tell you that the version will be available today. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I do have the release note for you, so I can show you. To begin with, we don't want you to use this in a production or a customer environment. Obviously, if you have a UAT or something like that, an environment that really doesn't matter that much, then you can use it for that purpose. But there's simply no time for me to show you everything we did here. But there are more than 20 new major features in this version. We have like 20 enhancements, we have like 20 changes, and we have like 20 bug fixes. And only one of these were in the 5.3 or earlier versions. So that's it. So I will release this after my lunch. So you will have a version to toy around with on your own. Yeah, so let's dive in, right? So where are we? Here. So let's jump in. So to begin with, I just need to show you this update thing. So here are the parameters that you might need to tune accordingly. Otherwise, you will not be able to update. Okay, so a short word on that one. The new dashboard, we added the other repository entities, so they are also presented on screen if you're the admin user. Let's dive in. You can see already here we had something called maintenance mode, and this is something you asked for like 7 or 8 years ago, but now it happened. And let's have a look. So what we did for maintenance mode is you can add arbitrary user notifications, and a user notification is actually now has a category, a type, which is called maintenance. And as you can see here, you can tell Nodinite between what times this maintenance window is, and you can opt to include all the monitoring or just the selected monitor views that you might have. So you might have multiple maintenance windows because you change different parts of whatever you're updating out there. So you can have overlapping maintenance modes and so on and so forth. We strongly encourage you to reuse the old user notifications so you don't end up having hundreds of these, because probably chances are that you want to reuse them because they might be on the same time or whatever. But this should be fairly simple to use. And once you navigate to the monitoring and inside the monitor view, you will clearly see that this monitor view is currently in maintenance. And this means that we are still doing all the monitoring. You can still interact with the agent, do whatever you're doing, but we will not push alerts outside Nodinite. So that's what happens during a maintenance mode. We are, suppressing alerts. We did some changes on what's being logged, so there is additional information here. And if you want to, you can extend easily the maintenance mode with, let's say, 1 hour, or let's say that the maintenance it's completed, so you want to close it. Then it's very easy to stop the maintenance mode here and now from this page. So we added a few features here to make it easy for you to work in Nodinite during the maintenance mode. We also invented tags. So the concept of tags was already available in articles. And as you can see here, I can click on the tag to narrow it down. Let's see if I have some more. Okay, so here I have 2 monitor views for IBM. And you can have multiple tags, obviously. We are reusing the same set of tags. So if you create the IBM tag, it means the same tag if you're toying around in articles or in log views. So the concept of tags is also available in the logging. So we believe this makes it much easier for you to cope with large sets of monitor views. So let's walk further here. In the logging, we did some major changes. Hopefully you guys can help us see if we did something wrong here. But you can see that there is more information on the screen. We have it more condensed. So it's roughly 20% more rows on screen. And if we look at the message here, obviously you have still have the style sheet support, but in the view body, when you work with the search field wizard, you can see here already that there are some new functions. So for example, we can show you the hidden characters, or if you want to, let's say this was a defact file and you want to break, so I will cheat here by saying break on row. So now I had a line break. Obviously this was not that good for a XML message, but you get the point. And also in the search field wizard, when you are in the end of this one, and you're going to do the reindex operation, we totally rebuilt this to make it much easier for you to include large sets of message types to this search field. This was a bit problematic in previous versions. Let's see, there are some changes to formula, but I will not go into those details. If you have a grouped view, you can now work with something we call post group filter. And this feature, we're not completely done with this. There will be additional stuff added to the general availability version of this feature. But what are we doing here? So look, you can say that I want the last event, so the latest event in the group. Maybe I want that to have Karlstad. right? So this means I will only present the group if the last log event in that group has a city named Karlstad. So we will add some additional here, any, first, all, and so on. So there will be some more options here. But this should make it easier for you to have business-related log views for different conditions. Give me all the orders that has not been confirmed today or something like that, where the last one is still not confirmed. Okay, you can also see that there are more tabs here. We have 5 tabs, so we split the column thing and the grouping thing into 2 different tabs. A problem with tabs is that you don't have that much information on screen. So we call this cherry edition, and if you're on on an ultra wide screen, obviously this will look shitty right now, but see what happens. So we will show you all the information. So if you are on an ultra wide screen, Nodinite will automatically try to show you as much information as possible. So we try to implement that everywhere. Maybe it's not everywhere, but that's at least our ambition. So I think no, I'm actually not done with the logging. Let's see, 12:22, good. Let's see. Okay, so I wanted to show you some parts about what we did for printing and for let's see, need to remove this. So let's say you have a very large set of transport bookings that you want to email to the party. In the past, when you tried to print or export, you could only do so with the entries on screen. Now you can export and print multiple pages at a time, and you can export multiple entries like this. So this is a nice addition to remove the limit of like 500 entries per page. So that's a good thing. Let's continue. This is a major change. In the preview, we are really not that happy with the user experience here just yet, but bear with me here. So as before, we have the repository, and here I might have my integrations. But what's new here is that when I click on the integration from this section, I will be able to look at the documentation for that integration. If I want to edit, I need to click on edit. There's a print button. This is now deep linked, so it's on its own page. So you can link to the documentation from outside, which obviously is useful when you share the information. And this also makes it very more easy to save something as PDF if you want to email the documentation. So there are some hidden gems in this. If you want to edit like you did in the past, then the administration is now in the admin section. And this section behaves like it did in the old versions of Nodinite. So you can think of this as being the view mode feature for the entities that you have. If we scroll down here to the management, and let's have a look at some changes we did. So for this sales invoice integration, I have the following systems. So we made it easier for you to navigate back and forth in between. And also in the landscape, this looks like it did before. So this is like a 5:4 landscape with virtually the same features where you could look at the documentation and do whatever you were doing. But what we did now, what we did now in Nodinite 6 is we gave you a way to tie resources to the landscape. So as you can see here, I have tied one or more resources to this service or contract. You can add arbitrary numbers. What does this mean? This means that this might be a receive location in BizDoc that I tied to this service. So I can now interact with this one and do the start, stop, or whatever I want to do, look at the articles and things like that. So we believe that you guys will spend more time documenting your integrations, because now with this feature you also get the monitoring in the landscape. We talked about it. This was planned 8 years ago, but now it happened, so I'm happy to show you that. Also, a very good addition in this 6th version is the advent of multiple actions. Look, so I can click on select all, and with selected I can opt to do a, let's say, an enable operation. The enable operation is available for multiple categories. So if I click on this one, this means I can, with very few clicks, start all the receive locations on a BizDoc machine, or restart. You get the point. We will iterate over the selection, and you will be able to execute the same operation on multiple resources with very little hassle. Let's see what's more to say about this release. There's so many hidden gems here, but we did some performance improvements again. There is substantially less I/O. We have additional caching, so the pages should load much faster, and the footprint on your SQL system should be drastically less in this version. I want to show you a really nice addition. This may be, I'm running out of time here, so maybe this will be the last thing I show you. So let's say you have this finance role, and you have 200 log views or 200 monitor views. In the past, it was really tricky to set the permissions. So if I have 200 log views and I want to assign finance read access maybe, or whatever, in this version now, this is a new button that makes it very easy for you to add arbitrary number. So if I had 200 log views or monitor views, I could add them, you know, with very little hassle. I will not do this now, but you get the point. So this, we had one guy who spent an hour doing this manually in the old way, and it took us an hour to do this feature. So yeah, you really need to tell us when there are too many clicks in the product. There are other places where we went from 8 clicks to 2 clicks. So yeah, a lot on the usability part here. So my time is running out. 30 minutes passed quite quickly here. Please make sure to read the release note carefully, and if you have any questions or wonder what this is, then please contact us. If you can wait to send us stuff on the support during the holidays, we would obviously appreciate that. Yeah, so this was Nodinite 6.0 for partners in 30 minutes.
Yes, thank you so much, Michael. And we look forward to your feedback, your questions, which we will address after the vacation. And we will release a date for that the same soon, where we can all collaborate and talk about what questions and feedback we received and how we can mutually work on them. Thank you so much, everybody.